Hello everyone, I'm Connor from Reveal IT and welcome to the course. So this is Spotting the Truth, a guide to misinformation and disinformation, and during this course you're going to learn how to spot false or misleading information and how to protect yourself and others from its impact. So let's get started. Why this course matters. We are surrounded by information every day, on social media, in the news, through friends and family, but not all of it is true. This course matters because understanding misinformation and disinformation helps us make smarter and safer choices both online and offline. Here is what you are going to learn in this course: what misinformation and disinformation are, why they spread, how to spot warning signs, tools for fact checking, and how to talk to others about false information. These skills are practical, beginner friendly, and useful in everyday life. What to expect. This course is divided into short sections that you can take at your own pace. We've included short videos, simple examples, quizzes, and downloadable tools. You don't need any technical skills, just a willingness to learn and think critically. Now that you know what this course is about and what you are going to gain, it's time to jump into the core content. We will begin by breaking down the basics, what misinformation and disinformation actually are, and how they affect all of us.
Thanks, Connor. Hello everyone, I am Alex from Reveal IT, and today I'm going to be guiding you through section 2 and 3. So I suppose welcome to section 2, which is understanding misinformation and disinformation. In this part of the course, we're going to break down two terms which are often used interchangeably, but actually mean very different things: misinformation and disinformation. So you're going to learn the definitions, how they differ, and why understanding that difference really matters. We're also going to walk through some real-life examples to help make things clearer. Let's start with misinformation. Misinformation is any false or inaccurate information that's shared, but without the intent to deceive. In other words, the person sharing it might believe that it's true, even if it isn't. Some everyday examples include sharing an outdated health tip, misquoting a news story, or forwarding a fake news article believing that it's real. The reality is, it's very common, and most of us have probably shared misinformation at some point without realising it. So on the other hand, disinformation is quite different. This is false information too, but it's created and shared on purpose with the goal of misleading or manipulating others. It often serves a particular agenda, like influencing an election, making money, or spreading fear. Some examples include fake news articles created to manipulate voters, deepfake videos meant to damage someone's reputation, or coordinated social media bots that spread hoaxes to create confusion. So how do we tell the difference between the two? Misinformation is usually shared by accident. It's not intended to mislead, and it often comes from friends, family, or even everyday people on social media. Disinformation, on the other hand, is shared deliberately. It's designed to mislead or influence, and it usually comes from fake accounts, organised campaigns, or even bots. Understanding the intent behind the information is key to figuring out what we're dealing with. So let's take a look at two real-world examples. Firstly, a viral tweet which claims that you can cure colds with garlic, and it gets shared by thousands of people. That's misinformation, most likely unintentional, but still untrue. Now imagine a coordinated campaign where fake accounts post false election results. That's disinformation. It's strategic, deliberate, and meant to manipulate the public. These examples show how both types can spread widely and how both can cause serious damage. So why does any of this matter? Whether intentional or not, misinformation and disinformation can have major impacts. They can confuse people, spread fear or panic, influence voting behaviour or public health decisions, and undermine trust in experts, journalism, and even democratic systems. That's why it's so important to know how to spot and challenge false information when we see it. Welcome to Section 3, Spotting the Signs of False Information. In this section, we're going to explore how to identify content that might be misleading or completely false. You'll learn how to recognise common red flags in headlines, images, and sources, and how false content often uses emotion to trick us into reacting. And most importantly, you'll start thinking like a fact checker. So let's look at some of the most common red flags to look out for. Number 1 is sensational or all caps headlines. These are designed to shock you into clicking. Number 2 is no source or an unknown source. If there's no clear author or publisher, be skeptical. Next is poor spelling and grammar. This can be a dead giveaway that the content wasn't reviewed or professionally written. Number 4 is emotionally charged or urgent language. For example, "You won't believe this," or "Share this now." Number 5, claims that are too good or even too bad to be true. If something feels off, it probably is. These are your early warning signs that a post or article might not be trustworthy. So one of the best things you can ask yourself is who's behind the information. Things to check for are a known credible source, a publication or organisation that you recognise, or whether the same information appears on multiple trustworthy sites. Things to look out for are anonymous or untraceable sources, clickbait sites pretending to be news, and personal blogs which are trying to look like professional journalism. Not all sources are equal, and where something comes from matters just as much as what it says. So how does false information play with your feelings? It doesn't just trick your brain, it goes for your emotions. It's designed to provoke reactions like anger, fear, sympathy, and outrage. The goal is to get you to share it before you even thought. If a post makes you feel a strong emotion right away, pause for a moment. That emotional reaction is often a sign that the content is manipulative. It's really important that you don't believe everything you see. Photos and videos can lie too. Things to look out for are misleading or out of context images. These are real photos which are used to tell the wrong story. Photoshop content are images which are edited to add or remove things. We have videos with altered audio or misleading captions, and increasingly deepfakes. These are AI generated videos that look incredibly real. It's important to always treat viral visuals with a healthy dose of skepticism. So here are some strategies to help you become a fact-checking pro. Firstly, look beyond the headline. Don't stop at the first sentence. Next, use reverse image search, which allows you to see where that image came from originally. It's important to cross-check with multiple sources, such as trusted news outlets or official websites. And next, ask yourself, who benefits if I believe this? This can often reveal the hidden agendas. Lastly, check the data and the context. Are the statistics real? Is anything being left out? The more you question, the closer you get to the truth.
Thanks, Alex. Hi, I'm Sarah from Reveal IT, and welcome to Section 4 on Tools and Techniques for Verification. So in this section, you'll learn practical steps to help verify suspicious content and protect yourself from falling for false information. We'll cover things like how to search smarter on Google, how to use reverse image tools, where to find reliable fact-checking sites, and how to apply the SIFT method to think critically before sharing. So let's start with simple ways to level up your Google searches. So number 1. Use quotation marks to search for exact phrases. This is helpful if you want to check whether a quote is real. Number 2. Add site. Add this before a web address, like site.bbbc.com. This limits your search to trusted sources only. Number 3. Try keywords like hoax, debunked, or fake to quickly see if others have already fact-checked something. And 4. Don't forget Google Lens. This lets you search using images directly from your phone. Okay, so now on to reverse image search. Reverse image search is one of the best tools for verifying photos and visuals. You can use Google Images, which is images.google.com, or you can use TinEye, which is tineye.com. You just upload an image or paste the image's URL to see where it has appeared online. You'll often find that a dramatic photo is actually years old or used in a totally different context than what the post claims. And always check the original source, date, and how the image is being used elsewhere. Okay, so using trusted fact-checking sites. There are organisations dedicating to separating fact from fiction. So here are some of the most reliable ones. So you have Snoops, great for checking rumours and viral claims. Then you have PolyFact, which is focused on political statements and policies. Then you have Reuters Fact Checking. This covers global news stories. And finally, AFP Fact Checked. This is especially good for verifying photos and social media claims. These sites are constantly updated and can save you time by doing the deep digging for you. SIFT. It's a strategy for smart checking. The SIFT method gives you a simple framework for verifying content. So S. Stop. Don't share until you've checked. I. Investigate the source. Who created it? Are they credible? F. Find better coverage. Look for reliable reporting from other outlets. And T. Trace claims, quotes, and media to the original source. Using SIFT helps you slow down and take control of how you consume and share information. Okay, so ask yourself these key questions. Before you share something online, take a moment to reflect with these quick questions. So, who created or shared this? What's their motive or agenda? Are other reliable sources saying the same thing? Does it make me feel angry, scared, or shocked? And is that the point? Can I verify this myself in under a minute? These small moments of reflection can help stop misinformation in its tracks.
Hello everyone, my name is Pavel from Reveal IT, and I will be guiding you through section 5 of this course, the impact of misinformation. So misinformation isn't just misleading, it has very real consequences. In this section, we'll look at how false information affects individuals, harms communities, and impacts society as a whole. It's not just about being wrong online. Misinformation can lead to fear, broken trust, and even dangerous actions in the real world. Let's start with how misinformation affects us as individuals. It can influence poor decisions, whether it's about our health, who we vote for, or how we manage our money. It creates confusion, fear, and anxiety, especially when the information is emotionally charged. It reinforces harmful beliefs or stereotypes, which can deepen divides or fuel prejudice. And perhaps most dangerously, it can lead people to act on false information, sometimes with serious consequences. At the community level, misinformation has a ripple effect. It spreads panic and fuels distrust between groups. It harms relationships and creates us versus them mentalities. It weakens support systems and erodes faith in public institutions and authorities. In some cases, it's even used to target or scapegoat vulnerable populations, leading to division or even violence. When communities don't have shared facts, it becomes much harder to work together. Zooming out even further, misinformation impacts society on a large scale. It undermines democratic processes, think of election lies and manipulated voting info. It destroys trust in the media, science and government, which makes people more vulnerable to manipulation. It fuels extremism and dangerous conspiracy theories, and it slows down effective responses to public crises, like health emergencies or natural disasters, because people don't trust the facts. When truth becomes blurry, so does our ability to act as a society. Here's a real example of misinformation in action. False claim that 5G technology was responsible for the spread of COVID-19. The result? People vandalized cell towers, panic spread, and it diverted attention from real, science-based health messaging during a crisis. This case shows that misinformation doesn't just live online. It leads to real-world damage when we don't question it. The key takeaway: always pause, investigate, and think critically, because false information has consequences.
Hey everyone, my name is Wesley from Reveal IT, and I'll take you through section 6 of this guide, how to spot misinformation in the wild. Learning to identify misinformation is a vital skill in today's digital world. In this section, you'll learn the common signs of misinformation, how to analyze sources and verify claims, tips to avoid falling for manipulative content, and simple tools and techniques for fact-checking. So some red flags to watch out for is sensational or emotional language, language that expresses outrage, fear, or shock. If no sources have been cited or the sources are vague, if the content says experts say or a friend told me, content with poor spelling, grammar, or strange formatting, clickbait headlines with exaggerated claims, or heavily biased or one-sided storytelling. You should ask yourself, who's behind the message? Ask who wrote or published this, what is its purpose? Check the credibility of the source. Is it well known or is it backed by experts? Be cautious with screenshots. They can be very easily faked. And Google the headline for a story. See if it's been reported elsewhere or if the place you're seeing it is the only place you can find it. Watch out for emotional manipulation. Posts that trigger strong emotions such as fear, anger, or outrage might be designed to cloud your judgment. Headlines that use all capitals or with too many exclamation marks are often red flags as well. You should be skeptical of overly dramatic or sensational language. Don't just trust your gut. Our instincts are usually useful, but they're not always right. Bias and emotions can cloud your judgment. Always pause and evaluate before sharing information. and use the tools and strategies available to you, not just your gut feelings.
Hi everyone, this is Connor Welsh from Reveal IT, and today I'm going to go through our final section with you for this course, Understanding Intent and Impact. So, by now you know how to spot misinformation, but it's also important to understand why it exists. In this final section, we'll explore the motives behind false information, who might create it, and what happens when it goes unchecked. In the wrap-up, we'll finish with a quick course recap and some final tips to help you stay informed. So to start off, let's start with motives behind misinformation. There's always a why when it becomes misinformation. It is not always random. There's often a ulterior motive, such as political manipulation, which is to sway elections or shape public opinion in their political candidate or party's favor. There's financial gain. So think of websites that profit off of sort of enticing you with like big sort of gasp-worthy headlines and shocking clickbait, which is just completely untrue, to sort of just to get you click on it and to get your ad money. There's social influences, which is to spread certain ideologies or create division. And there's trolling and chaos. Sometimes people just want to disrupt or provoke our societal norms. Knowing the intent behind this content and being able to spot it can help paint a bigger picture. So as for who is creating this misinformation that's to be spread, and who is behind it, it can come from various sort of sources, such as there might be just specific individuals with agendas that are looking to spread that, and they could be involved with a political organization or of their own accord. There's coordinated troll farms or automated bot networks who people often employ to sort of spread this misinformation for them or just have it be automated to do it. And there's also everyday people who just spread this false content without even realizing it's false. Not necessarily harm, but just sort of they're victims of it too, but they are spreading it, that misinformation. The sources can vary, but the consequences are huge regardless of the original intent. So what may be the real world consequences and impact of the misinformation campaigns? There can be several, such as this public health risk regarding, let's say, vaccine information. People might start to refuse them because of just wild false claims about what is in vaccines and what they might do to your body. Political unrest, which is caused by lies around election leaders around election time regarding sort of... There's violence, which can relate to hate speech or false rumors inciting attacks, fueled by this misinformation that causes people to hate. And there's the erosion of trust in media and institutions. So loss of trust in, let's say, media, government, science, and society overall, which is all kind of covered across this spectrum. The spread of misinformation will damage more and more lives than just outside of the digital space. So let's run through a quick recap of what we learned in the course today. We learned what misinformation disinformation are. We've learned why it matters and how it spreads. We've learned how to spot red flags and emotional triggers. We've learned what tools you can use to verify and fact check these misinformation. And we've understand how to understand the deeper motives of and impact of false information. You've covered a lot, and these skills are incredibly valuable to you in both your everyday and digital lives. So some final tips for staying informed. Before we close out, here are just a few more final tips to keep in mind as you move forward using the internet. Cross-check information before you share anything online. So that just means your own sort of be skeptical of emotional and sensational content. So just be questioning yourself. Don't just consume it mindlessly. You can follow and rely on credible sources and fact checkers. Encourage media literacy in your community. Help others understand what information is and how it works. Most of all, as I said earlier, just stay curious, not cynical. Ask questions and dig deeper, and don't just take everything at face value. So what's next for you? Now that you've completed this course, you can start applying your skills in real conversations and on your social feeds. You can share this knowledge with your friends and family, what you've learned, and you can keep practicing. The more aware you are, the easier it becomes to sort of spot and calibrate this and check this information. And you might also want to explore other courses on critical thinking or media literacy to go even deeper. Thank you very much for completing the course, and congratulations on completing it. Your awareness and critical thinking are very powerful tools in today's age, and they truly can make a difference. Feel free to leave a review or share your feedback with us. Stay sharp, stay informed, and stay kind.